I transmigrated into the male lead of a tragic novel, abused in body and heart by the heroine, and destined to die from an untreatable disease. The system said that as long as I complete the plot and make the heroine regret it in the end, I can obtain $800 billion. Me, bring it on, I'm not afraid. Later, the system emitted a sharp buzzing. You're the male lead of a tragic novel? How can you mistreat the female lead? I spread my hands. Tell me she won't regret it afterwards, okay? I transmigrated into a novel, became the male lead, Ethan, tormented in body and heart in a melodramatic, abusive story. According to the plot, I'll become a mute without a mouth, left to be bullied by the heroine Sophia and her beloved Liam. Even so, I'm still unwilling to divorce Sophia, continuing to provide support for her family and let her suck me dry. Faced with multiple provocations and frame-ups from Sophia's beloved Liam, I remain silent and say nothing. Later, I get a terminal illness and die. Sophia suddenly comes to her senses and realizes she actually loved me, so she crazily takes revenge on Liam. And Sophia's ending is that she is left alone, sorrowful, enjoying boundless wealth. About this, all I can say is, this is hard to judge. How is this any different from the mental victory trick? It's a world where only I get hurt, and it's been achieved. So, the first thing I did after transmigrating was get a full checkup at the hospital and immediately give up all bad habits. After all, health is the real capital for any undertaking. In any case, I don't believe Sophia didn't love me while I was alive and would only regret it after my death. For $800 billion, I will seize all the initiative. At my birthday banquet, Sophia arrived with her white moon Liam. At the same time, rows of Damaku floated through my field of vision. Here it comes, the exciting moment is about to arrive. The male lead and the female lead's white moonlight are finally going to meet. The male lead will soon be in unbearable pain, yet he endures everything. The female lead attends the male lead's birthday banquet with the white moonlight, making the male lead the laughingstock of the circle. Whenever he thinks of it, his heart is cut to pieces. The male lead pretends to be calm on the surface. After the birthday banquet, he goes on a wild drive and ends up in a car accident that sends him to the hospital. This is the male lead being physically and emotionally tormented, deliciously wicked. Huh, I sneered inwardly. I'm not a masochist. Why should I be the one to suffer? Since Sophia shamelessly disregarded our married status and brought Liam to my birthday party, why should I give her any face? If anyone is to be humiliated, it should be her. Sophia and I are a match between our families, but my background is better than hers. With such pedigree and circumstances, I really don't understand where she gets the confidence to casually challenge my limits. At this moment, Sophia and Liam stood side by side, paying no heed to the strange looks from those around them. I sneered, strode over in long strides, and everyone immediately cast inquisitive glances, waiting to see a good show. Happy birthday, husband. Sophia wore a perfunctory smile on her face. I asked a question I already knew the answer to. Where's my birthday present? In the original book, because Liam liked her, Sophia gave him the designer watch she had originally planned to give the original holder. Liam even flaunted it with teasing words in front of the original holder. The original holder was furious, but stayed silent for the heroine's sake, which only made Liam more smug. Sophia was a bit embarrassed, but only for a moment. She said nonchalantly, "Oh, Liam said he'd been trying to get that watch for ages and couldn't, so I gave it to him. It's just a watch." She had barely finished speaking when Liam immediately put on an apologetic expression and said, "Mr. Johnson, I'm really sorry. I didn't know this was Sophia's birthday present for you. She saw how much I liked it, so she gave it to me." He apologized with his mouth, but his eyes hinted at provocation and smugness. "Or should I take the watch off and give it back to you?" He deliberately exposed the watch on his wrist, but made no move to take it off. Seeing that, Sophia immediately grew a little displeased. "Husband, it's not worth it over a watch, is it?" I didn't so much as look at Sophia, instead casting a contemptuous appraisal at Liam, my tone openly mocking. Liam, with your status, you absolutely have no right to appear at my birthday party, let alone speak. Whoever attends my birthday party is worth more than $100 million. If Liam weren't with Sophia, he wouldn't even be able to get through the hotel's front door. Liam's expression suddenly grew very ugly. Sophia's expression changed too. She was about to question me when I waved my hand and two security guards immediately stepped forward. Mr. Johnson, I kept a stern face and spoke in a very harsh tone. Get this trash out. Anyone and everyone can come to my birthday party. Your security work is far too inadequate. The security guards shoved Liam away, and he looked ashen as he pleaded with Sophia. Sophia panicked and yelled at me. Ethan, you've gone too far. He's my friend. Too far. I sneered and raised my hand, delivering Sophia a hard slap. The barrage of comments exploded instantly, scarlet text scrolling densely across the screen. What's going on? Wasn't this supposed to be the male lead getting tormented? How'd it flip? The male lead hit the female lead? That's not how the script goes. This slap just broke the plot. Has the male lead gone mad? Is it going to beg his wife back at the crematorium? It's over. It's over. The female lead must be furious. Won't she divorce the male lead? Sophia covered her face. I'd stunned her with my blow. The people around me were also stunned by my actions, and for a moment the hall fell into an eerie silence. Then the sound of whispered conversations spread among the crowd. Seeing this, Liam widened his eyes and then angrily accused me. Sophia is your wife. How could you hit her? I kicked Liam to his knees and looked down at him. You know, she's my wife. This is my domestic matter. What business is it of yours, an outsider? After saying that, I turned to the security guard, take his watch off, and drag him out. The guard removed the watch from Liam's wrist and then forcibly hauled him away, cursing, dragging him out like a dog. Sophia finally came to her senses then. Her eyes red, she glared at me. Ethan, I'm so disappointed in you. How dare you hit me? I said coldly, if I hit you, I hit you. Don't need to pick a special day for it. She had previously taken advantage of the original's boundless love for her to demean the original. Too bad, I'm not the original owner. If she makes me unhappy, I'll definitely make her regret messing with me. Sophia was completely dumbfounded, as if she suddenly didn't recognize me. The way she looked at me was very unfamiliar. The live comments went crazy. Listen, is the male lead even speaking human language? Male lead, if you're being kidnapped, just blink. You're so unfamiliar, it's scary. Did the male and female leads pick up the wrong script? Sophia stared at me for a long time, her expression changing several times. In the end, she put on an air of lofty superiority. Ethan, I'll assume you're just in a bad mood today. Bring Liam back and apologize to me, and I can forgive you this once. You see, even though I hit Sophia, she didn't want to sever ties with me because she was wary of my status and still needed my help. The reason the original protagonist was being manipulated by her was nothing other than his repeated concessions, which only led the heroine to become increasingly vicious. So, women shouldn't be indulged without limits. However, apologize? Those two words don't exist in my dictionary. I took a step back, disgustedly putting distance between Sophia and me. Sophia, you're not only my wife, but also my business partner. You knew today was my birthday, yet you deliberately showed up with Liam on such an important occasion and gave him the gift. You did that to humiliate me. You want me to watch you two being so intimate and then have to offer you my blessings? Sophia, you really disgust me. The barrage of comments went crazy again. What did I just hear? The male lead called the female lead disgusting? It's collapsing. The plot's fallen to pieces. Wasn't this supposed to be a tragedy? Where's the abuse? The male lead is way too feisty. Sophia's face went deathly pale, but she still refused to accept it. Liam is my good friend. What problem is there with him? Oh, so you two have a purely platonic relationship. I smiled sarcastically and casually threw the watch into the trash can. Sophia, I don't want anything that's been sullied. We're getting a divorce. I took another step closer, looking down at Sophia with disdain, each word clear. At the same time, I will terminate all cooperation with the Taylor family. Sophia widened her eyes in disbelief, her body jolting as she nearly lost her balance. The live comments went completely insane. WTF divorce? How did it turn out like this? Male lead, how dare you say that? What about the plot? Weren't you supposed to silently suffer and never let go? You despicable man, you're out of line. The heroine is about to break. I guess the male lead is playing hard to get. He's not sincere. If I'm wrong, I'll stand on my head and poop. I looked at Sophia's face as if she'd seen a ghost and sneered inwardly. Serves him right. You have no sense of personal boundaries, parading around everywhere with your white moonlight while never caring about the original girl's face. If that's the case, I'll strip your face off and throw it on the ground to be trampled. Seeing Sophia remain silent, I taunted, "What? When I say divorce, you pretend you don't understand." Sophia's lips trembled as she spoke, her voice a little shaky. "Are you going to divorce me just because I brought Liam here?" Huh. It seemed she still hadn't recognized her mistake. This is a marriage of convenience for business. Whether you love me or not is irrelevant. But if you behave inappropriately and displease me, don't blame me for not sparing your face. With my worth, there's no need for me to fuss over whether a woman loves me or not. Sophia should be the one worrying about how to satisfy me. After all, I could find a marriage match with her background in no time. It's her who hasn't recognized her place. Sophia's face went even whiter, her breathing growing rapid. "Ethan, you weren't like this before. Don't you love me anymore?" I think the questions she asked are utterly ridiculous. What I care about now is whether she can bring me benefits. Love is utterly insignificant when it comes to measuring value. How much is liking worth? I shrugged and said to Sophia, "Rather than being your husband, I'd rather be your father and have you kneel and call me dad." Sophia's face flushed red and then paled, clearly very upset with me. The comment stream kept scrolling, some insulting me, some just watching the show. What a rotten man. His words are way too harsh. The heroine wasted her youth these past few years. I really want to laugh. Is this the new definition of a daddy-type male lead? The heroine is stunned. Her CPU is fried. Weren't we supposed to have an 8-year tragic romance? Is the male lead skipping straight to the ending? Sophia, let's go. I put my hand in my pockets and turned to walk out. Go where? Sophia still looked a bit dazed. Of course, we're getting a divorce. I said matter-of-factly. Why wait for an auspicious date? I think today is fine. While the clerks are still here, let's get the certificate. Sophia stood frozen, her expression complicated and edged with a barely concealed panic. In the original book, she always held the upper hand and watched me suffer without a trace of sympathy. Now that I'm not following the script, she's the one panicking. At this moment, the bullet comments were a crimson sea. WTF? Has the male lead completely let himself go? He doesn't care at all about the female lead's feelings. Why is the male lead suddenly kind of cool? Oh no, the plot has completely gone off the rails. We've jumped straight to the ending. What's the point of watching anymore? Wah, am I the only one who thinks the heroine is so pitiful? Sophia, my patience ran out. I urged her sternly. Everyone should keep their dignity. If I have the bodyguards drive you to the municipal marriage registry, you'll be the one embarrassed. Sophia's face went completely dark. She knew things could no longer be salvaged. After taking several deep breaths, she finally regained her composure. Stubbornly lifting her chin, she ground her teeth and said, "Fine, let's get divorced. Just don't regret it later." At the municipal marriage registration office, Sophia and I sat across the table from each other. Sophia looked at me several times, hesitating to speak, clearly unable to believe we were really getting a divorce. I know why she's like this. Because even when she did things that were excessive toward the original owner before, the original owner never once blamed or even complained to her. Instead, she placated her, comforting her by saying it was her own fault for not doing well enough. Of course, she can't understand how I suddenly changed. Ethan, Sophia couldn't hold back and finally spoke. Do you really want to divorce me that much? Of course. If I were to evaluate today, it would be. I gave Sophia a slight smile. Double good news. Sophia pressed her lips together, her expression somewhat embarrassed. The staff member asked mechanically, both of you are filing for divorce voluntarily? Do you have the divorce agreement with you? No. I did. The two of us spoke almost simultaneously. Sophia turned her head in shock. I said expressionlessly, I've already drafted the divorce agreement. Take a look and sign if there are no issues. I pushed the divorce agreement in front of Sophia, thoughtfully handing her the pen as well. Ridiculous. Divorcing Sophia was part of my plan from the moment I arrived here. Of course, I'd be thoroughly prepared. Even if she refuses, I have countless ways to force her into a divorce. The live comments instantly got excited. SSS, the male lead seems to have had this planned all along. No, that can't be. He's always been so deeply in love with the female lead. Why would he be preparing a divorce agreement? Something's off, very off. Could the male lead be cheating? Wah, the male lead is so rotten. The heroine's true feelings have been betrayed. Sophia held the pen and didn't sign for a long time. She stared at me intently, her gaze probing. Ethan, you're so impatient. Is there someone else outside? Huh? I almost laughed myself angry. Sophia, don't assume everyone is as shameless as you. Not even divorced and already all wishy-washy with other men. You don't need to tell me it's a purely platonic friendship. Put yourself in my shoes. If I had a close male friend, could you tolerate it for a single day? So have some shame. Don't judge others by yourself. I didn't give her an inch. Shifting my tone, I said, of course. After the divorce, what kind of woman I want and how many I want are none of your business. Sophia's face instantly turned extremely ugly, the hand holding the pen trembling slightly. So you do care about Liam's existence. If I cut him off, you would. I cut her off immediately. Don't overthink it. I want a divorce simply because I want to be rid of you. Sign it quickly, and don't cause me any trouble. Otherwise, I won't hesitate to show you what I'm capable of. I leaned forward slightly, stared in her eyes, and spoke each word deliberately. You should know I'm not joking. Sophia's face drained of color, fear appearing in her eyes, and she finally signed the divorce papers. The staff pushed 2 more forms over. She quickly scrawled her name on them as well, but very forcefully, as if venting her frustration. The staff efficiently stamped it and affixed the seal. Sophia and I finally terminated our marriage, and I finally obtained the divorce certificate I had been longing for. I neatly put the documents away and turned to leave without hesitation. Sophia remained seated, her eyes fixed on the divorce certificate on the table, as if trying to stare right through it. The live chat completely exploded. Holy shit, damn it. The male lead is too cold-blooded. I must be seeing things. Did the male lead actually threaten the female lead to sign the divorce papers? Who was being tortured here? From the start until now, the female lead has been completely led by the nose by the male lead. She's way too passive. Author, give a refund. I want to see the male lead get his comeuppance. The plot has completely derailed. Can someone come and fix this? When I walked out of the municipal marriage registry office, Liam was standing right at the door. He saw me come out first and hurried over toward me. Ethan, I never expected you'd actually divorce Sophia. How about you always loved her? I casually sized Liam up, a faint smile even playing on my face. We're divorced. Isn't this the perfect chance for you to marry her? Liam looked a little embarrassed. He opened his mouth, but said nothing. The smile at the corner of my mouth deepened. Because of your family background, the Taylor family is bound to refuse to let Sophia marry you. I patted Liam's shoulder with sympathy. It wasn't my father who forced Sophia to marry me back then either. She didn't oppose our marriage herself. At the end of the day, to her you're nothing more than this. Compared to so-called love, she loves money more. Marriages between powerful families require matching status. Even if Sophia liked Liam a little in her heart, she would never marry him at the expense of her family's interests. For a moment, Liam's expression lost control. Just because your family background is good, You think you can look down on people? I shook my head and sighed. You're still a bit foolish. When have I ever looked up to you? But I'm in a good mood today, so I'll give you some advice. Since the Taylor family won't agree to you marrying Sophia, won't you use some means? Liam frowned. What do you mean? I smiled faintly. Literally, good luck to you. Seeing Sophia come out behind me, I couldn't be bothered to pay her any attention and got into the car directly. The comment stream exploded. WTF? What did the male lead mean by saying those things to Liam? Does he really support the heroine being with Liam? I don't get it. There's something fishy, definitely something fishy. I lazily leaned back in the chair, a faint smile at the corner of my mouth. Of course, I wasn't kind enough to help Liam. The unattainable white moonlight is always the best. I was going to bind Sophia and Liam together deeply. If Liam could really use tricks to marry Sophia, the Taylor family would surely erupt, and Sophia would definitely hate him in her heart. And the more Sophia hated Liam, the more she would regret losing me. I wasn't doing this for them. I was doing it for my $800 billion. After that, I threw myself wholeheartedly into my work. Hold meetings, oversee projects, work hard to make money. Mr. Johnson knew I was divorced, yet he said nothing and actually had me take over Johnson Group's business even more deeply. The system, which had been dead, suddenly came online, probably unable to fathom how I had turned the plot into what it is now. Host, you divorced the heroine, and she won't pay any attention to you anymore. What will you do? I shrugged, not caring at all. So what? The original owner always obeyed her. What good ending did that bring? I was certain of victory. Don't worry, if I choke off Sophia's lifeline, won't she crawl to me on her knees and call me daddy? The system fell silent, then went offline. I kept my head down at work when a call came in. Boss, Sophia's parents are downstairs. They want to see you. Since the two families are old acquaintances, they're hoping you'll give them face. After divorcing Sophia, I blocked everyone in the Taylor family. They came to my house a few times looking for me, and I wouldn't even let them in. When the original owner used to flatter the female lead without any scruples, Sophia's parents always acted superior in front of him, putting on quite a show. I'm not the original owner, and I won't indulge them. I said into the phone, tell them that their pride is nothing but the insole of my shoe. Tell them to get lost. The bullet comments went wild. WTF, ruthless. The male lead really spares no one's feelings. Haha, the male lead's mouth is practically poisoned. Looks like there's absolutely no chance for the male and female leads. The male lead isn't leaving himself any way out. Just then, the secretary knocked and came in. Mr. Johnson, Miss Emma Wilson wants to see you. I frowned. Which Emma Wilson? The one and only Emma Wilson. She is the head of the Wilson Group. My eyes lit up. Let her in. Even if she doesn't come to me, I intend to go to her. The comments suddenly became excited. Emma Wilson? If I'm not mistaken, isn't she that supporting character whose family went bankrupt later on? It's her. What's she doing coming to see the male lead? You forgot. She's been secretly in love with the male lead all along. Too bad he doesn't like her at all. Now that she knows the male lead is divorced, could she be here to steal him away? If the heroine finds out the male lead cheated with another woman, she would never forgive him. Humph. Emma Wilson was dressed in business attire, her hair neatly pinned up, looking very capable. Ms. Wilson, please sit. I had the secretary pour her some tea. After Emma sat down, she got straight to the point. Mr. Johnson, I know you and Sophia are divorced. I'm here today because I want to form an alliance with you through marriage. That was blunt. When the Johnsons were choosing a marriage alliance for the original owner before, Emma had also been on the short list. But at that time, the original owner had eyes only for Sophia and wouldn't marry anyone else, so it was called off. She saw I wasn't speaking and continued. I keep myself pure. I don't mess around with relationships. My family background suits yours, and my workability is outstanding. You can consider me. Comments drifted across at the right moment. WTF? He's really here to steal her. The male lead won't agree. Will he? No way, right? What should the heroine do? This isn't just a regret after chasing your wife situation anymore. This is straight up replacing her. I ignored the live stream comments and said to Emma, "Ms. Wilson, I admit you're very capable, but I won't marry into your family. I have money and can find women, any kind I want." "Fine. Isn't freedom good? Isn't making money great? I don't have to throw myself into a marriage, especially one that I'd have to spend time and effort maintaining. Even if she doesn't ask much of me now, once we're married, she won't be content with the status quo and will want more. Either money or love." A look of disappointment flashed through Emma's eyes, but she quickly brightened. "Looks like I was being presumptuous. My apologies, Mr. Johnson." I smiled and said, "It's okay. If we can't become husband and wife, we can become business partners." In Emma's slightly shining eyes, I said to her solemnly, "Ms. Wilson, I want to cooperate with you. You must believe that, compared to love, there are many other more important relationships between people." In the original plot, because she was afraid Sophia would be jealous, the original protagonist never had any cooperation with the female CEO of the Wilson Group. "I wouldn't care about her at all. I only care about whether I can gain benefit." Emma smiled and raised her glass. "Then, Mr. Johnson, here's to a pleasant cooperation in advance." I raised my glass too. "Pleasure doing business." The bullet comments died down. With the cooperation finalized, I got to the point. "Ms. Wilson, I heard you recently set your sights on a plot of land in the Southbrook district." Emma didn't hide it either. "It is, but if we bid on it, our liquid funds will be very tight. So, Mr. Johnson, why don't we bid on it together?" I poured cold water on the idea. That land is untouchable. In the original book, the Wilson Group bought that plot, which caused its cash flow to break. That was the reason the Wilson Group went bankrupt. Emma clearly disagreed and expressed many of her views. She believed that place could very well become the city center of the future. That location is extremely remote. You could say there's no village in front or shop behind. Even if it does develop later, it will require a huge investment of manpower, materials, and money. I showed her the city planning map I had prepared long ago. "If it's really as you say, shouldn't the new transportation lines be built in that area?" Emma froze, her expression changing instantly. Obviously, she hadn't noticed that. She then stood up and said to me solemnly, "Mr. Johnson, it's fortunate to have you. Otherwise, our Wilson Group would likely have fallen into crisis." I smiled and said, "If you really want to thank me, there's something I need you to help with. Mr. Johnson, please go ahead. I want you to still attend that day's auction." That plot of land had caught the eye not only of the Wilson Group, but of Sophia as well. In the original book, Emma forcefully bought the land, and only then did Sophia reluctantly give up. This time I had Emma pretend to take part in the auction and then quit halfway. I want to watch Sophia jump into this big pit with my own eyes. The live comments were confused. The male lead already told Emma this is a trap, so why still let her join? What is he trying to do? Indicating they also couldn't make sense of it, all feeling that something was off. Who cares? We'll see later. After Emma left, a barrage of crimson comments suddenly exploded across my screen. "Extra! Extra! Liam threatened Sophia's father with Taylor Group secrets to force him to marry his daughter off to him. The heroine is so miserable. She was slapped by her father. Liam is really inhuman." Sophia was stunned. She didn't expect him to be so sneaky. Ugh, Sophia's father was furious, but had to compromise for the time being. "What the hell?" The heroine disagrees. Liam seems very angry. This time the heroine can't make decisions anymore. Her father said she must sign a prenuptial agreement, only register the marriage, no wedding ceremony. Liam probably got what he wanted, but sadly, Sophia looked at him as if she wanted to eat him. Their relationship probably can't go back to what it was before. The comments are still scrolling. I silently give Liam a thumbs up on my heart. Well done. I went to the auction that day too, but I hadn't prepared anything. I was just there to watch the excitement. Emma had prepared a plan and pretended she was going to participate in the auction. At the entrance of the Maplewood Hotel, I ran into Sophia, who had also come to attend. She came with Liam. They looked united in appearance, but were emotionally distant, with room for another person to stand between them. If it were before, the two of them would have wanted to cling to each other. Sophia saw me first, then looked at Emma beside me, and her expression changed instantly. The live chat erupted with excitement. Here it comes, the classic love triangle calamity. Her once unattainable white moon became her husband. Why does the heroine seem unhappy? Isn't it normal for the heroine to be upset? She was schemed against by Liam. The hero still doesn't know the heroine has remarried, right? If he knew, would he regret it? Ethan, how could you be with her? Sophia spoke with anger and accusation. I kept a calm face, my tone detached. Miss Taylor, who I'm with, does that concern you? Don't forget, we're already divorced. Sophia's expression stiffened, but she was used to looking down on me. She didn't think she was in the wrong at all. You only divorced me not long ago, and you've already been cozying up to her. Were you two already seeing each other behind my back? Ethan, do you feel any guilt? I was honestly laughing with anger at Sophia. Where on earth did she get such a nerve? Seeing me stay silent, Sophia's eyes suddenly lit up with triumph. Ethan, you still like me, don't you? Bringing her here was meant to make me jealous. I can't stand it anymore. I opened fire with everything I've got. Sophia, don't take advantage of your own brain problems to do whatever you want. If your mouth has nothing better to do, go lick a toilet. Don't keep jabbering here. You must understand my tolerance for idiots is limited. The live comments went completely crazy. WTF, the male lead insulted the female lead in public? She was the one acting like trash, okay? Don't forget, she's married again. She's a married woman now. The male lead is right to scold her. The female lead is way too double standard. Exactly, she can have her white moonlight, but the male lead's companion is merely a collaborator. Sophia's eyes were red, tears welling up in the corners as she choked out. Ethan, do you hate me that much? I shrugged. You're overthinking it. Right now you're nothing in my eyes. You're just a tool for me to make $800 billion. Sophia trembled all over, tears dropping with a pat, her whole body wavering. At that moment, Liam immediately stepped forward and put his arm around Sophia's shoulders. He looked at me as if proclaiming his claim. Mr. Johnson, Sophia and I are married. She is my wife now. The live comments had already told me, so there was naturally no surprise. I said without any particular emotion, "Oh, congratulations then. I'll definitely give the wedding gift money next time." Liam's expression twisted for a moment, and he said, "Mr. Johnson, Sophia, and I will definitely be happy." I really can't understand what he means by telling me these things. But I know that sometimes the more someone lacks something, the more eager they're to show it off. It seems he hasn't been happy with Sophia lately. They're unhappy, and I'm happy. So, in a fit of magnanimity, I said to him, "Oh, good luck to you." Liam didn't expect me to remain so calm. His expression immediately darkened. At the same time, the live comments went wild. Haha, is the male lead cold-blooded? Liam showed off a bit, only to find that the male lead didn't care at all. He was about to shut down. Emma, I'm dying laughing. Does the male lead actually care about anything? Sophia wiped the corner of her eye and finally steadied her emotions. She looked at Emma beside me. Ms. Wilson, I heard you're also interested in that piece of land? Emma raised an eyebrow. What's the matter? Ms. Taylor scared. Sophia smiled. Fair competition. There's nothing to fear, but I'm determined to win. Emma said contemptuously. Don't cry if you lose then. Sophia sneered. Until the end, it's still uncertain who will win or lose. She finished speaking, then turned and led Liam into the hotel. Emma waggled her brows at me from behind and mouthed, "He's hooked." In the end, the plot of land was auctioned off to Sophia, just as I had hoped. She still fell into my trap. The barrage of comments wailed in unison. It's over, it's over, it's over. Heroine, are you out of your mind? That plot of land is poisoned. What's wrong with Emma? Why didn't she raise the price at the end? Wokeo, I remember now. The male lead has teamed up with Emma to trap the female lead. He's trying to bankrupt her? Can the female lead's aura save her somehow? Male lead, your heart is so cruel. What about the years you two spent together? What about them? I thought about it. Let's just say the original owner had bad luck. Sophia was very pleased. After the event, she made a point of coming over to show off to Emma and me. Thank you both for giving me the spot. Emma pretended to be displeased and snorted. I actually felt like laughing, but I held it in. The barrage of comments fell silent. A few months later, Sophia suddenly found me. According to the original book's development, the crisis at the Taylor Group came quickly. When we met again, Sophia looked exhausted, with heavy dark circles under her eyes. Ethan, no, Mr. Johnson, you're the only one who can help me now. Please, for the sake of the years we were married, help my company through this crisis. I will be grateful to you. Sophia had lowered herself completely, with none of her former haughtiness left. After speaking, she looked at me with pleading eyes, appearing pitiful and fragile. Seeing that I didn't speak up, the light in her eyes dimmed little by little. Then she seemed to throw caution to the wind. Ethan, as long as you're willing to help me, I'll do anything. I said, I can help you. Sophia showed a look of pleasant surprise. The live comments were also excitedly shouting. Ah, I knew it. How could the male lead stand by and watch her die? The male lead really can't let go of the female lead. He's doing this to win her back. After the two get through the crisis together, they'll reconcile, right? Can't wait. As long as the male lead is willing to help the female lead, I'll forgive the earlier plot for not tormenting him. I continued, since you know, and now no one but me can help you, and no one else dares to, you must do this according to my wishes. Sophia nodded repeatedly. Ethan, thank you. You're such a good person. Sigh. In the original book, Ethan never heard Sophia say a kind word about him before he died. Now that I've put her in trouble, she instead has to thank me. She was, simply put, despicable. Sophia signed a contract with me in ecstatic delight. I bought a significant amount of Taylor Group shares and stabilized the company's stock price. At the same time, the plot of land the Taylor family had acquired was left half-developed and abandoned when their funding collapsed, and I bought it at a very low price. I recalled the developments later in the original book and turned the site into a new energy industrial park. Sophia was moved to tears with gratitude toward me. I now own the vast majority of Taylor Group's shares, have a seat on the board, and hold the ultimate say. Of course, Sophia's parents were unwilling, but they had no other choice. Sophia began to linger around me whenever she could, fussing over my well-being and even willing to learn how to cook for me. I don't make the first move, but I don't refuse either. She has no other support and is completely dependent on me now. See, I told you she was cheap. That day, I went to inspect the Taylor Group again. The comments suddenly started flying. Oh no, the female lead and Liam are arguing. Liam badmouthed the male lead and even called the female lead shameless, but the female lead shot back and called him a kept man. Oh my, what did I just see? Liam actually slapped the female lead. Holy shit, the female lead slapped Liam too and even said she wanted a divorce. Oh, quarreling? I feel very calm inside. You guys go for it. I continued my inspection, and the barrage of comments kept scrolling. WTF, Liam actually pulled out a knife? What is he going to do? He wouldn't kill the female lead, would he? Liam, you bad guy, said he'd kill the male lead first, then the female lead. No one will get off easy. He's literally a pervert. The heroine really must have been blind before. The live comments went blank for a moment, then exploded. WTF, WTF, WTF. The heroine actually smashed Liam's head with a vase. Holy shit, she's ruthless. Liam's on the ground now and bleeding everywhere. Liam won't die, right? Doesn't that make the heroine a murderer? The heroine's expression is so terrifying. She threw a vase and kept cursing Liam, saying he ruined her life. The heroine opened the door and ran off. Where's she going? Is she going to find a male lead? Will he help her? Maybe. Didn't the male lead save the heroine's company? I looked at the crimson barrage of comments before me and smiled. I took out my phone and called the police. At the same time, I had people report Sophia's parents, and they were taken away for investigation. The Taylor family's rise was always shady, and now that I began investigating them, I gradually gathered evidence of their crimes. The live comments were completely stunned. Did the tragic novel male lead put the heroine's entire family in prison? Does that make sense? Male lead, where is your heart? That's the woman you've loved for many years. Damn, I thought there might be some twist to punish the male lead, but fuck, it's utterly catastrophic. What on earth was I even expecting? I can only say, male lead, you did a splendid job. The system went crazy at this point, emitting a sharp, piercing buzz. Host, you are the male lead of an abusive novel. You must make the female lead regret it. I wasn't the least bit flustered. Just you wait and see. 3 months later, I finally merged Taylor Group into Johnson Group. Taylor Group ceased to exist. The Taylor family was completely ruined. I went to the prison to see Sophia. She was sentenced to 10 years for intentional injury. Liam is still in the ICU and hasn't woken up, and financial crimes. When I went to see her, she was streaming tears. Ethan, can you get me out of here? I don't want to stay even one more day. I'm in so much pain. I looked at her expressionlessly. Is there anything else you want to tell me? Sophia, eyes red, said painfully, Ethan, I'm sorry. I really regret divorcing you. We used to be so happy. It was because I didn't know how to cherish it that I ended up like this. She lifted her head and looked at me expectantly. Wait until I'm out. I'll spend the rest of my life with you properly. I will never do anything to hurt you again, I swear. I asked her seriously, Sophia, do you really regret it? Sophia hurriedly nodded, then shed 2 more lines of tears. Ethan, I really regret it. System. I spread my hands. You just tell me whether she regrets it or not. In the end, I successfully acquired $800 billion. I stood up and said to Sophia, Thank you, Sophia. I smiled and waved at her, then turned and left amid her puzzled and shocked look. Now, I'm going to enjoy my $800 billion. My wonderful life is just beginning. George, I've got good news and bad news. Which do you want to hear first? I put down my paintbrush and looked at my friend Frank. He stood at the studio door with a mysterious air, his face a mix of nervousness and excitement. Let's start with the bad news. After all, I've gotten used to it these past 3 years. Your painting, Eternity, just sold for a sky-high price. Over $6 million. I frowned. How is that bad news? Frank chuckled. Because it's actually part of the good news. The bad news is, buddy, you might need to see a psychiatrist. What do you mean? A woman who looks exactly like Mary showed up at your art exhibition. I almost thought I was seeing a ghost. The paintbrush slipped from my hand and fell to the floor, splattering paint across the unfinished canvas. Mary, my late wife, died 3 years ago after accidentally falling off a cliff. I watched with my own eyes as her body was pulled from the water. In that moment, my world completely collapsed. Stop joking around, Frank. Why would I lie to you? She even left this. Frank handed me a note with an address and a time written on it. My hand trembled slightly. The handwriting was exactly the same as Mary's. That night, I waited until midnight at the designated cafe. Just as I was about to leave, a familiar figure appeared at the door. Mary? No, it couldn't be her. But every gesture of that woman, from the tips of her hair to her fingertips, was a shadow of Mary. George, it's been a long time. She sat across from me, and the familiar voice nearly made my heart stop. Who are you? I struggled to remain calm. I'm Mary, your wife. She smiled and reached out her hand. There was a scar on her palm, the mark Mary got when she accidentally cut herself on glass at 15. Impossible. Mary is already dead. She laughed softly. That was just an accident. I fell off the cliff and was saved by a reclusive old doctor. I lost my memory from the injuries and only recently remembered everything. As she spoke, tears began to fall with an expression I knew all too well, the look Mary wore whenever she felt wronged. I know it's hard to believe, but I really am Mary. I couldn't believe my eyes. The shade of lipstick Mary loved most, the faint little mole beneath her left ear, the unconscious habit of rubbing her ring while speaking. Everything was so familiar. Are you really Mary? She nodded and took a small box out of her bag. This is the proof. Inside the box was the first piece of jewelry Mary ever designed. A sapphire ring, the only one of its kind, never mass-produced. I brought it with me that day because I wanted to surprise you. I suddenly stood up and pulled her into my arms. 3 years of longing surged over me like a tide. I held her tightly, afraid that if I let go, she would disappear again. On the way home, she told me about her experiences over the past 3 years. She was rescued by an old doctor in the mountains, lost her memory due to a severe head injury, and lived in a remote mountain village for more than 2 years. It wasn't until she happened to see a poster for my art exhibition that her memory gradually returned. The next day, I took her to see Frank. "Oh my God, it really is you, Mary." Frank stared in astonishment, eyes wide. "Frank, it's been a long time." She greeted him with a smile, exactly as I remembered. Frank pulled me aside and whispered, "Man, this is unbelievable, but I really believe it's her. Who else but Mary could call me by my childhood nickname so accurately? That was something only the two of you knew." A week later, Mary officially returned. We held a small welcome party for her. Her mother was so overwhelmed that she fainted, and when she woke up, she clung to her daughter and refused to let go. But that night, I noticed the first sign that something was off. Mary never ate mangoes because she was severely allergic. Yet the returned Mary absent-mindedly tasted a mango dessert and was perfectly fine. "Aren't you allergic to mangoes?" I asked. She paused for a moment, then quickly laughed and said, "Oh, that old Chinese doctor cured my allergy. He's really amazing." I nodded, but in my heart, I marked the first question mark. Is this really my wife? A month passed quickly, and Mary blended perfectly into our lives. She knew the location of every item in the house, remembered our shared memories, and could even accurately name friends we hadn't contacted in years. But those subtle feelings of discord kept growing. For example, the real Mary liked to listen to classical music, especially Debussy, while designing jewelry. But she would always unconsciously hum along to pop songs. Mary always habitually used her left hand to hold chopsticks, even though she knew it was wrong. She just couldn't change. But she was a standard right-handed user. The most obvious difference appeared that night when I accidentally caught her smoking in the bedroom. The real Mary hated the smell of smoke. Even when I came home from social events with a faint scent of cigarettes, she would frown. "When did you start smoking?" I stood at the doorway, my voice soft. She was clearly startled, hastily snuffing out the cigarette. This is a herbal cigarette for treating insomnia, prescribed by an old Chinese doctor." I nodded, not pressing further, but the doubts in my heart only grew deeper. The next day, I went to find Frank. "Help me check if, in the past 3 years, plastic surgery technology has advanced enough to achieve this level." Frank's eyes widened. "You mean, she's not Mary?" "I'm not sure, but there are always some things that don't add up." 2 days later, Frank brought news. High-end plastic surgery can make faces look similar, but it can't replicate the exact placement of scars or moles. And there's a limit to how well someone can imitate a voice. What if it was a twin? Frank shook his head. "Mary is an only child. We all know that." I decided not to show my feelings for now and to keep observing. A week later, Mary's mother came to my house with astonishing news. "George, Mary is going to have a baby," my mother-in-law told me excitedly. I stood there stunned. Before we got married, Mary had been diagnosed with uterine hypoplasia. The doctor had made it clear she could never get pregnant. This was our shared secret. Not even my mother-in-law knew. How do you know that?" I managed to ask. "Mary told me this morning. She said she already had a checkup. It's been 2 months. My mother-in-law happily grabbed my hand. "It's a blessing from above. Mary survived death, and now she can bring us new life." My heart sank to the bottom. This absolutely could not be Mary. That night, I dug out the hospital's diagnosis certificate in my study, which clearly stated the condition of Mary's uterus. But when I wanted to talk to Mary about it, I found her in the bedroom, excitedly discussing the decoration of the nursery with my mother-in-law. "Mary, could you come here for a moment?" I called her calmly. She followed me into the study, still wearing a blissful smile on her face. "Did you forget about this?" I handed her the diagnosis certificate. She took it and glanced at it, her face instantly turning pale. "George, I can explain." "Explain what?" "Explain that you're not Mary at all." Mother-in-law heard the commotion and walked in. "What's going on with you two?" "Mom, take a look at this." I handed her the proof. My mother-in-law read it, then looked at Mary in astonishment. "What's going on?" "Mary, you can't have children." "Of course she can," I sneered, "because she's not Mary at all." My mother-in-law's face changed dramatically. "What nonsense are you talking about?" I can explain. She hurriedly grabbed my mother-in-law's hand. That old Chinese doctor not only saved my life, but also cured my uterine problem. It's a miracle, truly. My mother-in-law looked at me, then at her, hesitating. George, you're being too paranoid. My mother-in-law finally took her daughter's side. Mary has come back with great difficulty. You should cherish her, not doubt her. Yes, George, I know this is hard to accept, but miracles do happen. Tears welled up in her eyes. Haven't we always wanted a child? Now we can finally have our own baby. I looked at her face, identical to Mary's, yet I became more certain in my heart. This woman was not my wife. All right, I believe you. I smiled, deciding to go along with their story for now. Let's wait together for this miracle to happen. That night, I secretly contacted a private detective. My mother-in-law gladly accepted her daughter's explanation, even suggesting she move in with us to take care of Mary during her pregnancy. Outwardly, I agreed, but inside I grew even more wary. This was no coincidence. There had to be some kind of plot. Mom, haven't you always lived in Haicheng? Won't it be hard to get used to living here? I probed cautiously. For my grandson, I'm willing to endure any inconvenience, my mother-in-law said firmly. I noticed a fleeting unnatural expression on Mary's face. Could the truth be connected to my mother-in-law? On the third day after my mother-in-law moved in, I discovered more suspicious details. For example, the real Mary never drank coffee, but she and my mother-in-law often enjoyed it together. Also, Mary's favorite movie was Roman Holiday, but she claimed to prefer Titanic. The strangest thing is, Mary used to despise her cousin Tom when she was alive, but now he visits frequently and chats and laughs with Mary as if they're old friends. I told Frank about these discoveries. Buddy, things are getting more and more suspicious, Frank frowned. Are you sure you want to keep going like this? Why not just expose her directly? It's not the right time yet. I want to find out what they're really after. The private detective's investigation also made progress. The so-called old Chinese doctor who had saved Mary did not exist at all, and Mary's whereabouts over the past 3 years were completely untraceable. More importantly, the private detective uncovered a shocking fact during the investigation. Mary's cousin Tom was deeply in debt from gambling, and the painting Eternity under my name, worth over $6 million, was his only hope for quick cash. They're after your painting, the private detective asserted, and this fake Mary is likely a professional identity fraudster, hired to win your trust. I took a deep breath and decided to take the initiative. That afternoon, I pretended to go out, but secretly returned home and hid in the study. Sure enough, Mary and her cousin Tom were whispering to each other in the living room. It's taking too long, Tom said irritably. How much longer until he sells the painting? Don't worry, she soothed him. I'm already pregnant, and now he completely believes I'm Mary. In a little while, I'll say I want to move to a better neighborhood for the sake of the baby, and then we'll naturally need to sell the painting to raise money. You're really pregnant? That wasn't part of the plan. It was an accident, but it works to our advantage. George wants a child so badly. Does Annie know the truth? She only knows we're trying to scam money, not the specific plan. But she hates George, thinks he caused her daughter's death, so she's more than happy to help. I clenched my fists. So my mother-in-law had always believed that Mary's accident was somehow my fault. In fact, we did argue over something trivial that day, and Mary stormed out in anger. I didn't try to stop her. But I never imagined it would be the last time I'd see her. You don't actually have feelings for George, do you? Tom suddenly asked. She was silent for a moment. It's just part of the job. Besides, I owe you, and I won't go back on my word. Good then. Don't forget how we're splitting the money once we get it. Their conversation confirmed my suspicions. This was all an elaborate scheme, with my eternity as the target. In the days that followed, I pretended everything was normal while secretly making preparations. I contacted the police, arranged for evidence-gathering equipment, and found the last piece Mary had left before she died, a silver necklace that had never been made public, engraved with an anniversary date only the two of us knew. 2 weeks later, my art exhibition was held as scheduled. As planned, Mary brought up the idea of moving, hinting that I could sell Eternity. I pretended to agree and said I would auction the painting on the last day of the exhibition. This is a surprise I prepared for you, I said on the eve of the exhibition, taking out a delicate box. To celebrate the new life we're about to begin. She opened the box in surprise, and inside was the silver necklace. It's beautiful, thank you. She smiled as she prepared to put it on. Wait, I stopped her. Aren't you going to look at the engraving on the back? She turned the necklace over, and her face suddenly went pale. What's wrong? Don't you like it? I asked, feigning ignorance. No, I really like it. It's just, I'm a bit moved. She forced a smile, but didn't know how to explain that she couldn't recognize the significance of that date. See you tomorrow. Get some good rest, and don't forget to wear this necklace. I kissed her forehead and whispered in her ear, after all, this is your final design. Her body visibly stiffened for a moment, but she kept smiling. Of course, I cherish it very much. Tomorrow, the truth will come to light. On the day of the exhibition, the place was packed with people. My painting, Eternity, was displayed in the most prominent spot, right next to the last batch of jewelry designs Mary had created before her death. Mary held my arm, flawlessly playing the role of my wife as always. She had even gone out of her way to wear Mary's favorite white dress and the silver necklace I had given her last night. My mother-in-law and Tom were there too. The three of them exchanged glances from time to time, clearly waiting for the perfect moment. Frank appeared as planned, pretending to be extremely interested in Eternity and asking me about the auction details. The auction will begin promptly at 4 p.m, I replied with a smile. This painting means a great deal to me, and I hope it finds someone who truly appreciates it. Mary immediately chimed in. Yes, although it's hard to part with it, this is a necessary decision for our future. I noticed she glanced at Tom, who gave a barely perceptible nod. At 3:30 p.m, the projector in the center of the exhibition hall lit up. This was the special segment I had arranged. Ladies and gentlemen, I stood in front of Eternity. Before the auction begins, I'd like to share a little story about this painting. Mary's photo appeared on the projection screen, a group picture from her last birthday party before she passed away. 3 years ago, my wife Mary died in an accident. I created this painting, Eternity, in her memory. The woman in the painting has her back to the viewer, forever gazing into the distance, symbolizing a longing I can never reach. A soft sigh rippled through the crowd. Mary stood beside me, matching my words with a sorrowful expression. However, a month ago, a miracle happened. I turned to look at Mary. My wife came back. The whole room erupted in astonishment, and many people curiously sized up, Mary. This is my wife, Mary. I took her hand and stepped forward. Back from the dead, it's truly the greatest blessing heaven could have given me. She smiled and nodded to everyone, while my mother-in-law and Tom stood by with smug expressions. However, my tone suddenly shifted. Amidst my joy, a question arose. Is she really Mary? The entire room fell silent. Mary's hand trembled slightly in my palm. So, I did some investigating. The projector switched to a set of comparison photos. On the left was the real Mary. On the right was a photo of her. They look exactly the same, don't they? But I clicked the remote, and the photo was enlarged, the details highlighted. The position of the piercing on the left ear was slightly different, the arch of the eyebrows subtly varied, and the fine lines at the corners of the eyes ran in different directions. These are details that even professional plastic surgery cannot fully replicate. Mary tried to pull her hand away, but I held on tightly. My mother-in-law and Tom also began to grow anxious, glancing toward the exit. More importantly, the real Mary has a feature that cannot be copied. I turned to Mary. The necklace I gave you last night has a date engraved on the back. Can you tell everyone what that date is? She opened her mouth, but no words came out. That was the due date of our first child, the one we lost. I spoke softly, my voice trembling with emotion. Mary designed this necklace to commemorate the baby we never got to meet. The date was our secret, only Mary and I knew. The room fell utterly silent. Mary turned deathly pale, my mother-in-law's eyes widened, and Tom had already started edging toward the door. What surprised me even more, I continued, was that the real Mary could never get pregnant due to an underdeveloped uterus. Yet this, Mary claims she's already 2 months along. I let go of her hand and took a step back. So, who are you really? A flicker of despair flashed in Mary's eyes, but she quickly regained her composure. I am Mary, it's just that old Chinese doctor. The non-existent old Chinese doctor, right? I sneered. Just like the non-existent amnesia, the non-existent miraculous recovery. I turned toward the projection screen. Let's see the truth. The screen played the secretly recorded video of her conversation with Tom, their discussion on how to swindle eternity, clearly audible. This isn't. She tried to explain, but my mother-in-law had already rushed forward. Who are you really? My mother-in-law screamed. You're not my daughter? Auntie, stop pretending, I said calmly. You know she's not Mary. You just wanted to get back at me, didn't you? My mother-in-law's face turned pale. I didn't know she was going to impersonate Mary. Tom just said he needed help to scam some money. Police. Don't move. Several plainclothes officers emerged from the crowd, blocking Tom as he tried to escape. Amid the chaos, Mary took the opportunity to shove me aside and run toward the exit. I chased after her and caught up in the parking lot. Tell me, who are you really? She finally stopped, turned to face me, tears welling in her eyes. My name is Luna. I'm an actress. Tom found me and said if I helped trick you out of a painting, he'd give me $1 million. I needed the money for my sister's medical treatment. Why did they choose me? Why Mary? She shook her head. I don't know. They gave me a lot of information, photos, videos, even your chat logs. I was just following the script. The police arrived and took her away. I stood where I was, gazing at the distant sky, my heart a tumult of emotions. Back in the exhibition hall, the crowd had already dispersed, leaving only Frank and a few police officers. It's all been cleared up, Frank walked over. Tom owed money to loan sharks and was desperate. Your mother-in-law always resented you for not saving Mary, so she helped them plan the whole thing. I walked up to eternity, gently caressing the back of the woman in the painting. Mary, I can finally give you an answer. The police left with the evidence. Frank patted me on the shoulder. What do you plan to do next? I took a deep breath. Prepare for the final painting. What will it be called? The Pursuit, I said softly. This time, I'll paint her face, not just her back. After the case was solved, my life seemed to return to where it was 3 years ago. Eternity was temporarily held by the court as crucial evidence. Tom and Luna were arrested for fraud, and my mother-in-law was investigated as an accomplice. The prosecution wants you to testify in court, the officer called to inform me. The trial is scheduled for early next month. I agreed, though I was utterly exhausted inside. After exposing the deception, I thought I would feel the thrill of revenge, but what I felt instead was a profound emptiness. Those days spent with Mary that month had allowed me to feel a trace of warmth in life again, even if that warmth was born of lies. Frank often came to see me, worried I might fall into despair once more. I told him not to worry, that I was working on a new piece, The Pursuit. Are you really going to paint Mary's face from the front? Frank asked curiously. For the past 3 years, you've always refused to do that. It's time, I replied. We can't live in the past forever. I moved out of the apartment I had shared with Mary and returned to the old house in the suburbs, the place where the real Mary and I had first made our home. The dust-laden memories in the house brought me both pain and comfort. Mary's studio remained just as she had left it, design sketches scattered across the table, unfinished jewelry drafts pinned to the drawing board. One afternoon, while sorting through Mary's belongings, I discovered an encrypted external hard drive. After several attempts, I finally unlocked it using our wedding anniversary as the password. Inside were backups of Mary's design works, along with some personal photos and videos. One folder in particular caught my attention. Inside a folder named Plan was a series of jewelry design sketches, labeled George's Birthday Special Project. It was then I remembered that, in the months before Mary passed away, she often spoke mysteriously about giving me an unparalleled birthday surprise. Leafing through these design drafts, I couldn't help but be moved to tears. Mary had planned to design a jewelry collection inspired by my paintings over the years, with each piece corresponding to a representative work from my artistic career. The last page was a sketch of a ring, with a dark red stone set in the center, its edges adorned with tiny diamonds, closely resembling the sunrise in my early work, Dawn. This is blood amber? I examined the notes carefully, confirming the name of this rare gemstone. Mary's designs had always been bold, but blood amber is extremely rare in the Chinese market, almost impossible to acquire. How did she obtain such a material? As I continued searching, I found a series of email correspondence screenshots. Mary had actually contacted a gemstone dealer in Myanmar, commissioning the blood amber specifically for this ring. The last email showed that the gem had already been shipped, but the date was exactly 1 week before Mary's death. I immediately called Frank, Help me check if there was a package sent from Myanmar 3 years ago, addressed to Mary. 2 days later, Frank brought news. The package did exist, but since no one signed for it, it was returned. However, according to the shipping records, it was resent a month ago, this time addressed to you. What? I was completely confused. I haven't received any package. Check your old apartment? Frank suggested. Back at my old apartment, the manager told me there was indeed a package, but it had been signed for by Mary. She said it was a surprise for you, so she didn't notify you, the manager explained. This meant Luna had taken the blood amber. I rushed to the detention center and requested to see Luna. Separated by glass, she looked much more haggard than the last time we met, but still wore that face so similar to Mary's. What are you doing here? She asked coldly. A month ago, you signed for a package from Myanmar. There was a blood amber inside. I want to know where it is. She looked surprised. How did you know? Tom asked me to sign for it. He said it was some precious gem. He took it. My heart sank. Tom was deep in gambling debt. A precious blood amber would be a windfall for him. He had probably sold it long ago. That blood amber is very important to me, I said softly. It was the last gift my wife left me. Luna was silent for a moment, then suddenly said, maybe it's not that bad. Tom said the stone has flaws, its value is greatly reduced, and he hasn't found a suitable buyer yet. Hope was rekindled. If Tom hadn't sold the blood amber yet, maybe there was still a chance to get it back. Do you know where he might hide it? Luna hesitated for a moment. He has a safe deposit box in a self-storage facility on the east side of the city. After getting the address, I immediately contacted the officer in charge of the case and explained the situation. Since Tom was involved in a large sum of money, the police quickly approved the search request. Mr. George, we've found the safe deposit box, the officer said over the phone. Inside, we did find the blood amber you described, as well as some other evidence. A few hours later, I retrieved the blood amber at the police station. It was even more beautiful than I had imagined. Within the dark red core, wisps of mist seemed to swirl, shifting strangely under the light. This was the birthday gift Mary had so carefully chosen for me, waiting for 3 years. Back home, I carefully placed the blood amber beside the canvas of the pursuit. The painting was already more than half finished, Mary's face emerging from the blur into clarity, yet it still felt like something was missing. Watching the blood amber glimmer faintly under the light, I suddenly understood how I should complete the painting. The creation of the pursuit entered its final stage. I decided to break convention and incorporate the blood amber into the artwork. This would not only be a portrait, but a hybrid piece that fused painting with the art of jewelry. Are you sure you want to do this? Frank frowned. That blood amber is priceless. That's exactly why, I said firmly. Mary chose it for me. She wanted to inspire an unparalleled masterpiece. I will fulfill her wish. For 2 whole weeks, I worked day and night, neglecting sleep and food. I cut the blood amber into thin slices and inlaid them at the spot of Mary's eyes on the canvas, making her gaze truly come alive. I used a special technique to blend the surrounding paint, creating a harmonious transition with the gemstone. From certain angles, the entire painting seemed to be imbued with life, and Mary's expression would shift depending on where the viewer stood. On the day I finished the piece, Frank brought news. Luna had been sentenced to 3 years in prison, but due to her good attitude in confessing, she might serve only 1.5 years. Tom, involved in multiple fraud cases, was sentenced to 7 years. My mother-in-law, as an accomplice, received a suspended sentence. The case is finally over, Frank said. Are you planning to exhibit your painting? Yes. Next month there will be a solo exhibition at the National Art Museum, and The Pursuit will be the grand finale. The curator couldn't stop praising this piece, believing it represents the innovative direction of contemporary art and marks the pinnacle of my career. Indeed, this painting, which incorporates Mary's jewelry design concepts, is in some sense a creation we made together. On the eve of the exhibition, I checked the arrangement in the gallery alone one last time, making sure every piece was perfectly lit and positioned. When I reached The Pursuit, I couldn't help but stop and gaze at it. Mary's face was vividly lifelike, her eyes inlaid with blood amber gleaming under the spotlight, as if she were smiling at me. For the first time in 3 years, I faced her directly, no longer painting only her back. Mr. George, a stranger's voice called from behind. Sorry to disturb you, but the gallery has been cleared. He turned around to see a young woman dressed in the museum's staff uniform. And you are? I'm the new curator, responsible for security in your exhibition area, she explained with a smile. I really like your work, especially this piece, The Pursuit. Thank you. I nodded. I'll be leaving soon. She didn't leave, but continued to gaze at the painting. That red gem is beautiful, almost as if it's alive. It's blood amber, I explained, a very rare gemstone. I know, she said softly, top-grade blood amber from Myanmar, containing plant fossils, extremely rare. I looked at her in surprise. You know a lot about jewelry? She smiled. I studied jewelry design. I'm just working part-time here. For some reason, Mary suddenly came to mind. She, too, had an almost obsessive passion for and expertise in gemstones. If you don't mind me asking, who is the woman in this painting? She asked. My wife, I replied. She passed away 3 years ago. She was a jewelry designer. I'm very sorry, she said sincerely, then gestured toward the blood amber. This gem must mean a great deal to you. It was the last birthday gift she chose for me before she died, but I only found it recently. She nodded thoughtfully. Setting it into her portrait is the best way to remember her. For some reason, talking with this unfamiliar woman brought me a strange sense of calm. Perhaps it was her love for jewelry that reminded me of Mary. Sorry, I have to continue my rounds. She glanced at her watch. See you tomorrow, Mr. George. See you tomorrow, I replied, watching her leave. On the way home, I felt an unusual peace. The completion of The Pursuit seemed to mark the end of my search for Mary as well. Not forgetting, but remembering her forever in another way. The next day, the exhibition's opening ceremony attracted numerous figures from the art world and the media. The Pursuit undoubtedly became the center of attention, with people marveling at this innovative form of artistic expression. Amid the crowd, I noticed that curator standing aside, watching as well. Sunlight streamed through the skylight of the gallery, falling upon her, and for a fleeting moment, I thought I saw Mary's shadow. No, I shook my head, warning myself not to be deceived by mere resemblance. There would never be another Mary in this world, just as there would never be another unique blood amber. After the exhibition, The Pursuit was purchased by an anonymous collector for an astronomical price. I donated all the proceeds to a foundation supporting students in jewelry design, establishing a scholarship in Mary's name. Life slowly moved forward, and I began to accept new commissions and create new works. Occasionally, I would think of that curator with a unique insight into jewelry, wondering if she was still working at the art museum. Until one day, I received an email from HL. There were no words, only an image. A sketch of a ring design, the style strikingly similar to Mary's unfinished series. My heart raced as I replied immediately. Who is this? The response came quickly. Yesterday, you brushed past me by the cafe on the street corner, but you didn't recognize me. If you want to know more, wait for me at the museum entrance at noon tomorrow. Is it that librarian? How could she have a design so reminiscent of Mary's style? Filled with anxiety and anticipation, I decided to accept the invitation and find out for myself. The next day at noon, I arrived at the art museum half an hour early. The sun was shining, and small groups of visitors were coming and going from the exhibition hall, but there was no sign of the mysterious person. Just as I began to suspect this might be some kind of prank, a faint trace of perfume drifted by, a scent unfamiliar to me, yet it inexplicably reminded me of Mary. Mr. George, thank you for coming. The voice behind me made me turn around. It was the curator. Today, she wasn't wearing her uniform, but a simple white dress, completely different from Mary's style when she was alive. Did you send the email? I asked directly. She nodded. There are some things I want to tell you, but not here. Will you come with me? We walked through the small park beside the art museum and arrived at a secluded cafe. The whole time, I kept observing her. Her mannerisms, the way she walked, none of it resembled Mary. Yet her sensitivity to detail and her focused attention gave me a strange sense of familiarity. Who are you, really? The moment we sat down, I couldn't wait to ask. My name is Nicole. She looked me straight in the eye. I'm Mary's student. This answer caught me off guard. Mary had indeed taught jewelry design part-time at the Design Academy before she passed away, but she had never mentioned having any particularly close students. I took her advanced design class the year before she passed, Nicole explained. Her guidance benefited me for a lifetime. That still doesn't explain why your designs resemble her style so much, I said, half convinced. Nicole took a folder out of her bag. These are all notes from Ms. Nicole's class and her feedback on my work. You can look at the handwriting and confirm that it's really hers. I carefully examined the materials. It was indeed Mary's handwriting. There were even traces of the pale purple ink she habitually used. Before Ms. Nicole passed away, she was guiding me on my graduation project, Nicole continued. The theme was interwoven light and shadow, blending Eastern and Western aesthetic elements. She gave me a lot of valuable advice, and even showed me a sketch from a private project she was working on at the time. George's special birthday project? I blurted out. Nicole's eyes widened in surprise. You know about it? I only found out recently. I briefly explained the origin of the blood amber. I knew that blood amber would eventually find its way back to you, Nicole said with a smile. Nicole always said it was a destined gift. Is that why you contacted me? Because you saw the blood amber? Nicole was silent for a moment, as if choosing her words carefully. Not entirely. After Nicole passed away, I've been trying to carry on the design philosophy she taught me. Some time ago, I happened to see the news about your eternity being stolen, and then I saw someone impersonating Nicole. I thought I should tell you a few things. She took a letter out of her bag. This is the last letter Nicole gave me after class before she passed away. She said if her surprise plan went smoothly, I should show you this letter. If anything went wrong and she was gone, I should still make sure you see it. I took the envelope. It was indeed Mary's handwriting, and it read, "To my dearest husband." The envelope had already been opened. I didn't know what was in the letter at the time. I just kept it as Nicole instructed, Nicole explained. It wasn't until I saw the news that I opened it. I hope you won't blame me. I carefully took out the letter paper and unfolded it to read. Dear George, if you are reading this letter, perhaps my surprise plan has gone awry. Don't worry, it's just that the plan has changed, and the form of the gift may be different now. The blood amber I picked for you is said to be known as the Eye of Rebirth. Legend has it that looking at the world through it reveals truths that are often overlooked. I hope it can become a turning point in your artistic career, leading you to see new possibilities. All these years, your paintings have always depicted backs, as if you're afraid to face something head-on. I hope this gemstone will give you the courage to paint the front, to capture true emotions. No matter what happens, please remember, love does not disappear, it merely changes form, like this blood amber, which, after millions of years, transforms from resin into a gem, yet still shines. Forever loving you, Mary. The handwriting became a bit messy at the end, as if written in a hurry. I stroked the paper, as if I could feel Mary's emotions at that moment. Thank you, I said, my voice choked with emotion. This means a lot to me. You're welcome. I'm just fulfilling Ms. Nicole's request, Nicole said with a smile. Actually, there's one more thing I'd like to ask your help with. What is it? I'd like to apply for the Mary Scholarship you established, she said, taking a design portfolio out of her bag. This is my graduation project, combining Ms. Nicole's ideas with my own innovations. As I flipped through the portfolio, I was surprised to find that while these designs bore traces of Mary's influence, they also possessed a unique style and innovative touches. In particular, a series called Metamorphosis cleverly combined jewelry with transformable elements, allowing the pieces to change form according to the wearer's mood and occasion. This is outstanding, I praised sincerely. Mary would be proud of you. A hint of joy flashed in Nicole's eyes. Really? I've always worried I couldn't live up to her expectations. You've already moved beyond the learning stage and developed your own style. That's exactly what she hoped to see. As we talked, sunlight streamed through the window and fell on Nicole. In that moment, I seemed to understand something. When Mary spoke of love changing its form, perhaps she wasn't just referring to the blood amber, but also to her passion for art and its legacy. Luna tried to impersonate Mary by mimicking her appearance, but she could never truly replicate who she was. Nicole, on the other hand, looked nothing like Mary, yet she inherited a part of her artistic vision and spirit. Perhaps this is the true gift Mary left me, not the blood amber, but a new possibility, a path out of the past. Nicole's graduation exhibition was held in a small gallery. Though the space was modest, it was exquisitely arranged. Her works were divided into 3 series, representing the past, the present, and the future, forming a complete narrative. This is a brilliant idea, I sincerely praised. From tradition to contemporary and then to the future, it showcases the evolution and possibilities of jewelry design. Nicole smiled and nodded. This was inspired by teacher Nicole. She always says that good design should look back at history, be grounded in the present, and look forward to the future. As I walked through the exhibition hall, I noticed a special display case in the corner, containing only one piece, a seemingly simple ring with a small red gemstone set in the center. This is. I leaned in to read the label, which said, "In memory, dedicated to Teacher Mary." Yes, I made it from a small piece of blood amber I bought with my own savings, Nicole explained. It can't compare to the quality of yours, but it's also from Myanmar. I examined the design of the ring closely. Clean, powerful lines with fine silver threads encircling the blood amber, as if protecting the central gem, yet also seeming to radiate light outward. This is very similar to Mary's final design style, I said softly, but it also has your own unique touch. I wanted to create a piece that could both commemorate Teacher Nicole and showcase my own style, Nicole explained. The blood amber represents her influence, while the outer design is the direction of my own development. The exhibition attracted quite a few industry insiders, including some well-known figures from the jewelry design world. After viewing the exhibition, an older female designer approached Nicole and offered her an internship opportunity. I stood by, genuinely happy for Nicole. In the evening, as the exhibition was drawing to a close, Frank arrived as well. Seeing me with Nicole, he gave me a knowing smile. "New friend?" he asked me quietly. "Mary's student," I explained simply. "Very talented." Frank nodded without asking further questions. After touring the exhibition, he gave high praise to Nicole's work. It blends traditional and modern elements, demonstrating both technical skill and artistic expression, quite rare. Nicole thanked him politely. This wouldn't have been possible without the guidance of Teacher Nicole and Teacher George. After the exhibition, the three of us went to a nearby restaurant for dinner. During the meal, Frank talked about recent trends in the art market, while Nicole shared her insights on contemporary jewelry design. The conversation was light and pleasant, and I realized it had been a long time since I had relaxed and chatted with others like this. After a few rounds of drinks, Frank received an urgent call and left early. Only Nicole and I remained in the restaurant, and the atmosphere suddenly became a bit quiet. "Mr. George," Nicole hesitated for a moment before speaking. "I've always had a question I wanted to ask you." "What is it?" "After you finished The Pursuit, what are you planning to create next?" The question caught me off guard. To be honest, ever since The Pursuit, I haven't had any new inspiration. That painting seemed to have drained all my emotions and creativity. "I haven't decided yet," I answered honestly. "It might take some time to find a new direction." Nicole nodded thoughtfully. Nicole once said that the hardest thing for an artist isn't creating a stunning masterpiece, but finding a way forward after reaching the peak. She really did say that, I recalled with a smile. Mary always saw further than I did. "Maybe," Nicole said softly, "you could try a new direction that combines your work with jewelry design? Like in The Pursuit, but taking it even further." I recalled what Mary mentioned in her letter about seeing new possibilities, and suddenly I was inspired. "You mean creating a series of works that combine painting and jewelry?" "Exactly," Nicole said excitedly. "Your paintings create emotion in two-dimensional space, while jewelry gives it tangible form in the three-dimensional world. The combination of the two would have an astonishing effect." The more we talked, the more engaged we became, even sketching a few concept designs on the restaurant's napkins. Nicole's ideas were fresh and bold, perfectly aligning with my artistic vision, yet bringing a new perspective. As we left the restaurant, Nicole suddenly said, "I have to confess something." I looked at her in confusion. "I reached out to you not only to deliver Nicole's letter, but also for a personal reason. I hope to learn from you," she said candidly. "I want to become a designer like Nicole, someone who not only creates beautiful works but also perfectly blends art with emotion." Her sincerity moved me. "You're already on that path, and you're doing very well." "Then, may I consult you often?" she asked a little nervously. Of course, I'd be delighted. On the way home, a series of new works already began to take shape in my mind. A cross-disciplinary art that fuses painting and jewelry, both as a tribute to Mary and as a new starting point in my artistic career. That night, I had a dream. In the dream, Mary stood in a halo of blood-red light, smiling at me and saying, "See, I knew you would find a new direction." When I woke up, I got out of bed immediately and began sketching for the new series. I decided to name it Rebirth. not only representing the ancient life forever preserved in blood amber, but also symbolizing the rebirth of my artistic career, as well as the inheritance and development of Mary's artistic vision. A week later, I submitted a new series proposal to the gallery and received an enthusiastic response. The curator even suggested holding a special exhibition themed Between Dimensions, a dialogue between painting and jewelry. For this project, I invited Nicole to join the team as a jewelry design consultant. She had just graduated from design school and was both excited and nervous about the opportunity. "Am I really up to the task?" she asked me in the studio. "You understand Mary's design philosophy better than anyone," I assured her. "That's exactly what I need." In the days that followed, we worked at a feverish pace. We created during the day and discussed at night, sometimes even working through until dawn. Nicole's ideas flowed endlessly, and I transformed those thoughts into concrete artistic expressions. In the process, I rediscovered the pure joy of creation that I hadn't felt in a long time. One late night, when we finally finished the design for our first piece, Nicole clapped her hands excitedly. "This is amazing. Teacher Nicole will definitely love it." At the mention of Mary, she suddenly realized her slip and looked at me nervously. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." "It's all right," I said with a smile. "I think Mary really would like it. She always hoped I could step out of my comfort zone and try new ways of expressing myself." Nicole let out a sigh of relief, then hesitantly asked, "Professor George, may I ask you a personal question?" "What is it?" "When you faced the woman impersonating Professor Nicole, how did you see through her? I mean, from the news reports, she seemed like an exact copy of Professor Nicole." I pondered for a moment. Superficial resemblance is easy to achieve, but a true personality cannot be duplicated. Mary's perception of art, her attitude toward life, the way she handled details, these were all unique. Just like a work of art, Nicole mused, no matter how perfect a replica is, it can never capture the soul of the original. Exactly. We worked through the night again, and finally established the overall framework for the Rebirth series. 7 pieces, each blending elements of painting and jewelry, together telling a story of loss and recovery, death and rebirth. As our collaboration deepened, my relationship with Nicole gradually shifted from teacher and student to partners, both mentor and friend. Sometimes, when the light traced the gentle contours of her focused profile, I would unconsciously think of Mary. But soon, I realized that this association wasn't due to any physical resemblance, but rather that same dedication and passion for art. "George, you look much more spirited lately," Frank remarked at a gathering. "It's been a while since I've seen you so full of life." "Yeah, the new project has helped me rediscover the joy of creating." "Nicole's a good girl," Frank said meaningfully. "Talented, and she really understands you." I understood his implication, but just smiled without responding. There was indeed a special understanding between Nicole and me, but it was more rooted in our shared passion for art than anything else. At least for now. The creation of the Rebirth series took 3 months, longer than expected, but the results were stunning. Each piece was a perfect fusion of painting and jewelry art, offering both the pleasure of viewing as a flat image and the discovery of 3-dimensional effects brought by the jewelry elements from different angles. A week before the exhibition opened, I received an unexpected visitor, Luna. She had served her sentence and was released early. She looked much more haggard than the last time we met, but her eyes were clearer. "I came to apologize to you in person." She stood at the studio door, her voice low, "for everything I have done." I didn't respond immediately, but simply invited her in to sit down. "I know that an apology can't make up for the loss," she continued, "but I want you to know that I truly regret it." "How is your sister's illness?" I asked. She looked up in surprise. You know. I guessed. "You said you needed money for a reason, and I think that must have been true." "Yes," she nodded. "My sister's surgery was a success, and now she's fully recovered. For the past 3 years, I've been thinking about how to make up for my mistakes, even though I may never be able to." I was silent for a moment, then said, "You know, in a way, your appearance actually helped me." "What do you mean?" "It forced me to confront the past, to re-examine my memories with Mary, and ultimately to find a way forward." I pointed to the sketches of the Rebirth series on the wall and briefly explained this new project. Luna listened quietly, a look of genuine respect in her eyes. I'm glad you were able to find a new beginning from that nightmare, she said at last. I hope I can find my own path to rebirth as well. As she left, she handed me a small package. These are some simple pieces of jewelry I made in prison. The craftsmanship is rough, but each one represents my remorse and blessings. I hope you can accept them. Opening the package, I found several small trinkets handmade from fine wire and colorful glass beads. Though simple, it was clear the creator had poured their heart into them. Nicole happened to come into the studio at that moment. Seeing the trinkets, she asked curiously, "What are these?" I told her about Luna's visit. "You forgave her?" Nicole was a bit surprised. "Not exactly forgiveness," I said thoughtfully. "It's more like understanding. Everyone has their own hardships and choices. What's important is how we learn and grow from our mistakes." Nicole nodded pensively, picking up a piece of jewelry to examine it closely. The craftsmanship is rough, but the concept is ingenious. This person seems to have a talent for design. "Perhaps," I said, "everyone has the possibility of being reborn." On the day of the exhibition opening, numerous figures from the art and jewelry worlds gathered together. The Rebirth series received unprecedented acclaim. Critics called it a model of cross-disciplinary art, and the gallery owner was overjoyed, announcing plans for a nationwide tour. In the crowd, I saw Luna. She was dressed simply, standing quietly in a corner, admiring the exhibits. Our eyes met in the air. She nodded slightly, then walked away. "Who was that?" Nicole asked, standing beside me. "Someone searching for rebirth," I replied. Nicole seemed to understand and asked no more. We stood side by side before the pursuit, watching the blood amber refract a strange light under the lamps, like the silent burning of life's flame. "Thank you," I whispered to Nicole. "Without you, this series might never have come into being. It was your philosophy that guided us, teacher Nicole," she replied modestly. I was just fortunate enough to be the messenger. In that moment, I suddenly understood the true meaning of what Mary had written in her letter. Love has changed its form. Love exists not only in memory and longing, but also in inheritance and innovation, shining brightly in every spark of artistic creation. And I, at last, had learned how to begin anew after loss, to embrace rebirth while still searching. The success of the exhibition exceeded everyone's expectations. In just 1 month, the Rebirth series was reported on by major media outlets and even attracted the attention of the international art world. A renowned auction house extended an olive branch to me, hoping to include several pieces in their annual highlight auction. "This is an unprecedented opportunity," Frank said excitedly. "If the deal goes through, you'll become a top player in the contemporary art market." I wasn't particularly concerned with commercial success, but I did feel the joy of having my work widely recognized. More importantly, this series opened up a new artistic path for me, freeing me from the creative shackles of the past 3 years. Nicole benefited as well. As the project's jewelry design consultant, she received high praise from the industry. Several well-known jewelry brands reached out to her, hoping she would join their design teams. "Which offer are you planning to accept?" One night, as we were tidying up the studio together, I asked her. "To be honest, I'm still hesitating." Nicole paused her work. "These are all great opportunities, but..." "But what?" "But I want to keep working with you." She looked straight into my eyes. "Rebirth is just the beginning, isn't it?" Her candor surprised me a little. Indeed, the success of this series had opened up many new creative possibilities for us, but I wasn't sure if I should continue such a close working relationship. "You should consider your own career development," I said tactfully. "These opportunities are very rare for young designers." Nicole seemed to sense my hesitation and nodded gently. "I understand." In the days that followed, we were both busy and rarely had the chance to talk alone. A week later, Nicole told me she had decided to accept an invitation from a French jewelry brand and would be going to Paris to work for 2 years. "Congratulations," I said sincerely. "It's a very good choice." "Thank you," she replied with a smile, though a fleeting, elusive emotion flashed in her eyes. "I think this is the best arrangement for both of us." Before Nicole left, we held a small farewell party. Frank, the curator, and a few mutual friends came. The atmosphere was warm, tinged with a hint of sadness. After a few rounds of drinks, Frank found an opportunity to pull me aside. "Are you really going to just let her go like this?" "What do you mean?" I pretended not to understand. "Don't play dumb, man," Frank said bluntly. You have feelings for her. That's obvious. That's just professional rapport, I argued. Is that so? Frank looked at me meaningfully. Then why have you been so distracted ever since she decided to go to France? I was at a loss for words. In fact, these past few days I had indeed felt an inexplicable sense of loss, but I kept telling myself it was only because I had lost an excellent partner. I know what you're worried about. Frank lowered his voice. You feel like you're letting Mary down, don't you? I remained silent. He had touched upon the deepest concern in my heart. Mary has been gone for 3 years now. Frank gently patted my shoulder. She would want you to be happy. After the party ended, I walked Nicole home. The night was tranquil as water, and the city lights flowed around us. Thank you for your help and guidance these past few months. Nicole stopped at the entrance of her apartment building. This experience has meant so much to me. I should be thanking you, I said sincerely. Without you, the Rebirth series would never have been completed. We fell into silence, as if both searching for the right words to say goodbye. My flight is the morning after tomorrow, Nicole finally said. I still have some things to take care of tomorrow. So, this is probably the last time we'll see each other. 2 years will pass quickly. I tried to make my voice sound light. Paris is a beautiful city. You'll like it there. She nodded, a complex emotion flickering in her eyes. Professor George, there's something I've always wanted to tell you, but never found the right opportunity. What is it? I chose to study jewelry design because I saw Nicole's works. She took a deep breath, or more precisely, because I saw the pieces Nicole designed for you. The way she perfectly fused love and art moved me deeply. I didn't know that, I said in surprise. I've always hoped that one day I could be like Nicole, creating art filled with emotion. Nicole continued, her words coming faster, as if afraid she might lose her courage. But now I realize that what I want even more is to create for a specific person, just like Nicole created for you. I understood her implication, and my heart suddenly began to race. Nicole, please don't respond, she gently interrupted me. I just wanted you to know before I leave. No matter how you feel right now, remember that starting over is not a betrayal of the past, but a way of cherishing life. With that, she rose up on her tiptoes and softly kissed my cheek, then quickly turned and walked into the apartment building, leaving me standing alone in the night, my mind in turmoil. After returning home, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep, replaying Nicole's words and that gentle kiss over and over in my mind. Suddenly, I remembered a small box in the study, where Mary's last complete letter was kept, a letter I had found while sorting through her belongings. But at the time, overwhelmed by grief, I never had the courage to open. Now, I finally mustered the courage to walk into the study and retrieve that delicate little box from the depths of the drawer. Inside lay a pale pink letter, bearing Mary's familiar handwriting. Dearest George, by the time you read this letter, you may find yourself at a crossroads in life, hesitating between moving forward or staying where you are. My greatest wish is that you can move bravely through life, as freely as your brush glides across the canvas. Love is not a shackle, but a liberation. Memory is not a burden, but a source of strength. If one day you meet someone who can rekindle the light in your eyes, please don't hesitate because of your longing for me. True love is wishing happiness for the other, even if there is no longer a place for oneself in that happiness. Remember, the days we loved each other were complete, with no need for regrets. And now, it's time to paint a new picture, my beloved. Forever loving you. Mary. Tears blurred my vision. It was as if Mary had foreseen my current situation and had already given me her blessing. She was always like this, always able to see further and more clearly than I could. At that moment, I made up my mind. Early the next morning, I drove straight to Nicole's apartment. Professor George? Nicole opened the door in surprise, clearly not expecting me. I have something to say to you. I looked her straight in the eyes, not as your teacher, but as George. I handed her Mary's letter. Nicole read it carefully, her expression shifting from surprise to being moved, and finally, her eyes grew moist. She truly was an extraordinary woman, Nicole said softly, handing the letter back to me. Yes, she was, I nodded. That's exactly why I believe her words. Nicole, cancel your plans for Paris. Stay and continue our collaboration, will you? Nicole looked at me in shock. Are you serious? I've never been more serious, I said quietly. Rebirth is not just the name of an artwork, it's a possibility in life. Are you willing to explore that possibility with me? Her answer was a firm embrace, warm and real, like the first ray of sunlight after a long winter. In that moment, I felt as if Mary was somewhere, smiling down on us, blessing this new beginning. Life is like that blood amber, enduring countless ages of change and sedimentation, ultimately transforming into an eternal radiance. And I, at last, understood what true pursuit is, what true rebirth means. A year later, Nicole and I unveiled our second joint project, Interwoven, at the National Art Museum. This series was even bolder and more innovative than Rebirth, blending Eastern and Western aesthetics with various art forms. Critics hailed it as a significant breakthrough in contemporary art. At the opening ceremony, Nicole held my arm as we faced the media interviews and congratulations from the audience together. She wore a simple white dress, and around her neck was the Eye of Rebirth necklace we designed together. She completed the jewelry part based on my painting. "Your collaboration seems even more in sync than your last project," a reporter asked with a suggestive smile. Nicole glanced at me, and we exchanged a smile. Yes, both in art and in life, we found the perfect balance. This indirect answer drew a round of good-natured laughter from the reporters present. My relationship with Nicole was no longer a secret, but we always kept a low profile, letting the public's attention remain focused on our artistic creations. After the exhibition, we drove out to a small hill in the countryside. There stood an ancient oak tree, beneath which Mary's ashes were laid to rest. This was the place we chose, rather than a traditional cemetery, natural, peaceful, just like Mary herself. "Mary, the exhibition was a great success today," I said softly to the stone beneath the tree. "Nicole's designs were admired by everyone, just as you once predicted." Nicole crouched down and placed a bouquet of white daisies in front of the stone. "Teacher Nicole, I've been working hard to become the kind of designer you hoped I would be. I hope you can be proud of me." A gentle breeze stirred, and the oak's leaves rustled softly, as if it were Mary's reply. On the way back, Nicole suddenly said, "I've been thinking about something." "What is it?" "If that woman who pretended to be Ms. Nicole hadn't appeared, you might never have found the blood amber, never created the pursuit, and we might never have met." Her words made me fall into deep thought. Indeed, it was the series of events triggered by that deception that ultimately led to everything now. It feels as if, in the unseen, some force has been orchestrating it all. "Perhaps that's the irony of fate," I said softly. "Sometimes, the worst beginnings can lead us to the best endings." When I returned home, I received an unexpected package. Upon opening it, I found a delicate little box containing a handmade ring. Though simple, the craftsmanship had improved greatly compared to the pieces I had seen before. There was a note attached. "Mr. George, thank you for your kindness and understanding a year ago, which gave me the courage to start over. Now I have found a job at a small jewelry shop, and my life is gradually getting back on track. This ring represents my gratitude, and I wish you happiness and well-being on your new path." "Luna," I handed the ring to Nicole. After examining it carefully, she remarked, "Her skills have improved a lot. She truly is talent." "Some mistakes in life shouldn't become permanent scars," I sighed. "Everyone deserves a second chance." That night, we sat in the studio, discussing ideas for the next series. Nicole suddenly proposed a bold idea. I was thinking, maybe we could try connecting the different stages of our work to create a complete narrative. From eternity to quest, then to rebirth, and intertwined, they're actually different phases in a person's life journey. "You mean?" "A complete story about loss, searching, rebirth, and integration," she explained excitedly, ultimately asking what is the most precious treasure in life. "Love." I finished her sentence. "No matter what form it takes." Nicole nodded, her eyes sparkling with creative fire. "We could call it the forms of love, an unprecedented artistic exploration." Sounds like a long-term, ambitious project. "We have time," she smiled, holding my hand. "We have so much time." In that moment, I felt a powerful surge of creative inspiration, just like when I first began my artistic career years ago, filled with passion and possibility. But this time, I was not facing the blank canvas alone. 2 years later, the Forms of Love series was exhibited simultaneously in the world's 5 greatest art museums, causing an unprecedented sensation. Critics called it a milestone in contemporary art history, blending painting, sculpture, jewelry design, and other art forms to create an entirely new artistic language. The final piece of the exhibition was titled Eternal Ring, a massive circular canvas depicting every form of love in life, familial, platonic, romantic, and the love for art itself. The edge of the canvas was inlaid with gemstones of various sizes, and under certain lighting, these gems would cast light onto specific parts of the canvas, revealing another hidden layer of patterns. The centerpiece of this work is a massive blood amber. Through intricate optical design, the light it projects perfectly outlines two embracing figures. One is Mary, the other is Nicole, symbolizing the intersection of past and present, the fusion of memory and rebirth. On the closing day of the exhibition, in front of the eternal ring, I knelt on one knee and proposed to Nicole. The ring was crafted from the very blood amber Mary had once prepared for me, designed by my own hand and fashioned by the finest jeweler. This ring carries the memories of the past and the hopes for the future, I whispered softly. Nicole, will you be the eternal ring in my life? Her tears sparkled under the spotlight. I will. Amidst the cheers, I remembered what Mary once said. Love does not disappear. It merely changes its form. Yes, love does not disappear. It exists in memories, in art, in every rebirth and new beginning. It traverses time and crosses space, like that blood amber which, after millions of years, still shines, forever retaining the original warmth and brilliance of life. This is the answer I have been searching for all along. Between loss and gain, between seeking and rebirth, love remains constant, only appearing in different forms along the journey of life. And all we need to do is bravely accept this gift, no matter how it comes to us. On the day of the wedding, the sky was a clear, washed blue. Beneath the ancient oak tree that had watched over Mary, we exchanged our vows. A gentle breeze stirred, making the leaves whisper as if blessings were drifting in from another world. No matter when or where, Nicole said softly, we'll always remember that it was she who brought us together. Yes, I squeezed her hand, and we will always cherish this gift. In the brilliant sunlight, the blood amber ring gleamed, radiant as life itself, enduring the passage of time, yet still shining bright.